All right, everyone, thank you for coming to this year's annual National Business Conference. Tonight we'll be celebrating someone who is very close to me, someone who I've unfortunately had the pleasure to have to live up to throughout my childhood years, and that is my older brother, Curtis. My older brother, Curtis, is getting recognized this evening for his three core values that he shows, which is his work ethic, his leadership, and his perseverance. Tonight I'll be telling you about the person who means the most to me in my life. So a typical work week is 40 hours a week. But in an interview I had with Curtis March 1st, he told me he worked 80 hours or more, and this was on his breaks during high school. His work week looked like this. He woke up at 4:30, he went to his factory job at 5:30. From there he worked from 5:30 to 5, and then he'd go to his next job at Fastenal at 6. He often worked overtime hours, and he'd get home after 12 o'clock. And then on weekends he would work at our yard work business that he helped set up when he was a sophomore in high school. So work ethic is important in business because not only do you get your stuff done, you get the work done, but you also gain experience from getting the work. Another story I have about Curtis is when we were running our business, we were just starting out, it was actually Kurt's birthday, and we all went out to eat. Besides, we couldn't find Curtis. We had no idea where he was. We called him up and we asked him where he was, and he was actually doing a job that we hadn't done that day. In an interview on March 1st, I asked him why he didn't show up to his own birthday party. And he simply said, because the job needed to be done. And that really just shows his dedication to his work. And it really is a role model for leadership. Which brings me to my next quality that he has, which is his leadership. Now, Kurt, leadership, first of all, in business, is someone who leads a group of people to get a goal done. You're accountable for yourself and you're accountable for your team. And now, not only was Curtis a leader in our business, but he also signed up to be in the National Guard. He didn't have to. He actually already had his college paid for. He just wanted to. He wanted to serve his country. And he went to National Guard. He was invited to be a part of the leadership camp that he was invited to do. When he accepted this invitation, he had to decline a very important internship that would have really bolstered his business career. So this was a hardship that he overcame. And this brings me to my third point, which is perseverance, which is a quality that he definitely has. And I'm going to preface this with a story I have about Curtis. It is when he tried to get his scholarship to attend IUPUI. He got a full ride, but he suffered from a reading disorder and also learning disability. And so it was really hard for him to get this scholarship. He often did homework until midnight or later, stayed up full all-nighters. And when he was doing his ACT to get the score he needed, the first time he got a 21, and he needed a 31 to get the scholarship he needed. After doing it 2 more times, he got the score he needed. And so he overcame this reading disability, and he got that scholarship, which is very important. I think perseverance is probably the biggest and best quality that a business person can have, because in a business you'll have hard times, you'll have struggles, and you'll have to overcome them. And Curtis does this very well. I know in our business he overcame many struggles, and he was always the one accountable for this. And then a last story about Curtis, I think my favorite story about Curtis, he'd always wanted to be on the Wall of Fame. The Wall of Fame at our school was something you'd get on if you got got state or if you won city. And he always wanted to do this. He ran cross country his junior and senior year. He always ran JV because he had asthma, so he'd pass out after all his races. He unfortunately didn't get on the Wall of Fame his cross country season, so he decided to run track the first time ever his senior year, never running track, and he ran the 800. The first time he ran the 800, he got a 220, which if you are a track runner, an 800, 220 for a senior in high school is not very good. But by the time the city meet came around, he was put into the city meet 4x8, and he ran a 202, passing out and winning the meet for the team, making it to the Wall of Fame. And so to finish off, I would like to award Curtis the Most Valuable Business Person Award because of his hard work, because of his leadership, and because of his perseverance. And finally, if you guys ever have a goal that you'd like to accomplish, if you ever have something that you've always wanted to do, just think about Curtis and pass out before ever thinking about giving up. Thank you.
Yeah.